Wait, what? I think we both answered that question, but only one of us was supposed to answer that question. This is gonna be a good session. We're gonna have a good time.
I think I know why he's dehydrated.
I have not been drinking because the beer is way too expensive here. It fucking sucks.
But what does that have to do with it?
No.
No. He's got a point. I was quick on that one.
Although I am going to be getting back into drink making here at some point. I'm just getting my recipes back and sorted. I got my fancy glass bottles from Hobby Lobby.
By drink making, do you mean like bartending?
Yeah, bartending.
Okay. Or brewing?
No, I have been tempted to get into brewing.
Stop!
Is Ko in here? Because she's the only voice I haven't heard.
Yeah, I'm in here.
Okay.
Yeah, she was making fun of you too.
Whatever.
Awkward silence. Awkward silence.
I was what?
He said that you were making fun of me.
His shenanigans. Past.
What'd I say to make fun of her?
He's just trying to stir up shit.
I am the shit stirrer.
I mean,
I
I
have a
heard
giant
Airee
wooden
say something
spoon.
about a strap on earlier. I could stir up your shit for you if you'd like.
Woo! Spicy! Okay.
Look, I'm quiet, but I listen.
I feel like we have drastically deviated from the path of D&D.
I guess,
Hey,
I guess
Spoon, you haven't... Sorry.
I guess Talk's getting pegged.
As if the army isn't already fucking doing that to me anyways. Woo!
You are froggy tonight.
Yes, I am!
Sam, press the start button, please.
Rebooting.
What are we sorry?
The game?
I just realized, Spoon, were you
Yeah, but what
recording that
button?
entire
Is
conversation?
there any music?
Yes.
There is.
Ah,
It's
excellent.
been playing since before you got here.
Yes.
Good thing
So-
I haven't showed these videos to my friends.
Just curious. I wanted to know if it was actually working.
That is a good question. No, the bot.
Sam
Are you
says
playing
she
it?
can't hear music.
Are you playing it through Discord or are you playing it through Roll20?
I can hear it.
Roll 20.
It's in roll 20. I can hear it.
I cannot. I probably have to adjust my audio here real quick. One sec.
We could tell who's deaf.
Hey, I did a hearing test today, and according to them, I am not. If anything, my hearing's gotten better, which makes
Look,
no
the only
fucking
thing that you need to be able to hear is... Alright, so...
Not true. There's a lot of audio output sources here.
Alrighty. Anyway, there's a group of you coming back with a evidently nobleman in hand. He's been expressing his gratitude towards you for rescuing him as you have walked back. His name is Aldrin Foxglove. He seems to be chatting up Alex a lot.
For the last time, no! I do not subscribe to Quink's collectivist nonsense.
So, as we're walking in, do we see, who do we see? Do we see anybody, or?
Right now, you're getting to where you're close to the church, and you see Father Xantus outside.
So we're running away at right? And it doesn't look like there's any other...
The other goblins did not pursue you.
Okay.
And you're not hearing sounds of battle. It's quieting down. There's not many people out right now. You'll see you've passed a couple of guards that look like they're patrolling. Father Xantus is out helping people that have came to the church that are injured. So what would you like to do?
What was the gentleman's name again from my notes?
He is
Foxglove?
Aldern Foxglove, Aldern. And Foxglove is one word. He'll tell you Aldern is from Magnamar. He is looking to rebuild his family's ancestral manor, which is in the area. He came in for celebration and unfortunately, was attacked. And he's like, has thanked you all, but he seems to be talking to Alex the most. He seems to like Alex.
Oh. Well, I'm assuming based off of what you're saying that we've already chatted him up and maybe perused him for injuries.
He is perfectly fine. As you saw, he was hiding through the combat. Unfortunately, his hunting dog did die while protecting him. But you killed the one that was responsible for that. So he would like to, buy you all a drink. He's suggesting the Rusty Dragon. Now, if you want to stop by and see Father Xantus to see whether he has any healing available, or if you want to see if you can help anybody that is hurt, you can do that, or you can go elsewhere.
I'm gonna go check these bodies.
Okay.
Boop.
As she's kind of walking away from the group, I'll just pretend I'm chatting at Fox. I was like, for the last time, Cougar Creek is far too away to organize a... Young lady! Where are you going?
Look, this was a traumatic experience, okay? These guys were not supposed to be here. And I just want to see what they got going on. See if they got like an emblem or something. Somebody that like sent them. Why are they here? I don't know. But I figure it's a good idea. Plus, I lost some arrows. They got arrows. I'm taking the arrows. Eye for an eye,
Not to propagate the stereotype, but that's probably the most valuable thing you're going to find on them.
We'll do what we can do.
All right. So roll me a perception check. Anyone that's searching the goblins.
Crap.
I suppose we'll also search while we're at it.
You don't see a flying creature, Slugga.
He's basically referencing.
I know.
Spirals. What?
But you don't see him.
Oh no, he was making that gesture towards the other group of the party. Where in the fuck is perception? There it is. Hello.
Ganyeta, one of the things you're noticing is these goblins are from multiple tribes. You've counted at least 5 different tribes.
Everyone, goblins, they tend to stick with their groups, and these guys, they're They're different tribes of goblins. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's very, very unusual to see goblin groups working together like this. This is not normal. This is really not something I've seen before.
Alex will get a confused look on his face and put his hands on his hips, looks around, like, different tribes. Hold on. What makes you think that? Were they wearing tattoos or something? Show me.
Yeah, the groups have different symbols. I am, of course, having a problem finding the list now. 1 second. There's the Seven-Tooth Tribe. There is the Mosswood Tribe. There's the Lick-Toad Tribe. There's Thistletop Goblins. And the Bird Crunchers. And you'll notice they have like little symbols and stuff. Some is just like lines or whatever painted. But they are distinct. And you know that they're from different areas. So there's some to the south, some to the southeast, some to the east, some to the northeast. So they're from different areas around Sandpoint, which is unusual. You're like, why are they all here now? See if I can give you a better idea. Sandpoint, if you look, is in the middle at the top of the map.
Mm-hmm.
And to the south, there's a place called Brine Stump Marsh. And Brine Stump Marsh is where the lick toads come from.
Gross. Where are the bird crunchers from? Do we know why they call
The what?
themselves the bird crunchers?
They come from Raven Roost.
They like eating birds.
Oh no.
Along the western edge of Devil's Platter is where the bird crunchers are. So Devil's Platter's like a hilly plateaued area to the it's more east, southeast. There is a group from Mosswood, which is even further east of Devil's Platter. If you look north of Devil's Platter on the coast, there's Thistletop. And then where is... Yeah, I'm looking for the Seven-Tooth Tribe. Hold on.
Would we, by looking at them, know the names of the tribes? And like
Yes, I mean,
things. Okay.
and that is what is interesting. You don't know any of the tribes that get along with each other.
Okay.
Oh. Shankswood, which is in between Sandpoint and Thistletop, is where the Seven-Tooth Tribe's from. So, you're covering a pretty large area.
Is there anything else we notice?
They have really crappy weapons. It's more trash cast off than anything.
So Goblin tier.
Their weapons are very shoddy.
Can I look at Alder and Foxglove and ask him, Foxglove, have you seen other goblins banding together like this, or is this an unusual thing? Because I haven't seen this happening down in Magmar.
I really don't know. I only recently arrived from Magnamar. I mean, I've never heard of goblin tribes, grouping up together. You would think if they were, then they would have to be somebody more powerful than them that is bringing them together.
Now, who has enough personality to go and pull a bunch of goblins together? And I'm gonna go.
Some stronger and bigger than they are.
I'm gonna go ask Father Xanthos if they've been having problems with goblins and multiple goblin tribes.
Hello, my child. How can I help you?
Father Xanthos, have the goblins been in Sandpoint quite a bit? Have they been attacking in the area?
No. The goblins typically stay to their own.
Have you noticed? Go ahead.
The guard here, typically keeps them at bay.
Have the guard said anything about different goblin tribes banding together out on their patrols or being attacked by bands of goblins while they're out on patrol?
No, child. The goblins are pretty cowardly. If there's any large group of men, they're not going to go after them.
Well, this group of goblins seemed pretty aggressive, and they seemed pretty confident that they were going to keep attacking.
From what I've heard from the guards, there were dozens of these creatures. They've been attacking all over the town. I think they finally quieted down, thankfully. But we do have many injured here. And sadly, some dead.
Who is the captain of the guard? Maybe they know a little more about this problem with goblins.
That'd be the sheriff, Baylor Hemlock. Do you need any healing? What of your group? Are they all right?
We could probably use a little bit of healing, and I could use a little bit of rest because because we had to fight back some goblins, and I'm pretty beaten up.
Well, there's two of you that appear to be hurt right now. So he'll cast Cure Light Wounds for you two.
I am short 3.
Well, his will automatically fill you back up.
Yay!
Yep. Gagnetta 2, even though she won't talk in chat.
Sorry.
So, knowing that these guys are in this weird situation where they're all banding together, I have been parted from my partner in crime, and am very nervous for her and for Greto, because I don't know if these bird munchers eat his kind. So I think I'm going to start heading to try and find them and go back to the brothel where I assume they should have been heading. But before I do that, I'm going to see if there's any shish kebabs or anything laying around that I can grab on my way.
Oh yeah, there's food around.
Okay, I'm stuffing a bunch of it in my pockets. Like, as much as I can grab quickly, I'm taking. So no soup, because I don't want soup in my pockets.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Darn.
Here's the
All
thing
right.
I did. I did
As-
throw
as
it
you're-
into the fire.
As you're collecting food, Delilah and Allegretto will come back. And I guess she has gear on now. She decided not to go with the other one, correct?
Right, I went to go get my stuff if the fighting's over.
Yep, you get back. The fighting has calmed down.
I need to put you down. Oh my god, I'm so tired.
Thank you, Greto.
The father will heal you for 7, Allegretto.
Oh.
If you get near the temple.
Probably
This is-
open my character sheet.
'Tis the least I can do for you adventurers here. A lot more would have died if it had not been for you.
You say 7?
Yes.
Yay,
I'm
I'm
gonna throw my hands around Sammy and just hug her. I'm so glad you're okay.
Oh my god. Where did you go? I was so worried.
I went to a street fair in street clothes. I
Listen,
plan on getting into fights.
yeah, well, these things just seem to happen. Like, at the worst times. I mean, we were eating. God.
And we didn't even go get to do the thing you really wanted to do.
I
Go
know.
drink. all
I
the food
know,
at the
it's-
table.
And I'm so good at it. Are you hurt?
I'm not hurt. Thank you.
Are you
Are you
okay?
hurt?
Are you traumatized?
I'm not traumatized.
Remember, Aldern is offering to take you for drinks.
Is he offering to give me back spell slots?
Listen, I'm sorry, honey. They were calling for help. I had to go help the pretty boy over there, but he said he's going to cover the tab. So I think we should take advantage of it because I didn't like leaving you. So we're gonna get some drinks. I'm gonna make this right.
Okay. Where is he?
He's over with the cute cuddly one.
The rodent?
Yeah. You know, the little guy. And let me tell you, it's so cute to see this little guy. He has his own little bow and arrow.
Oh, that does sound quite cute, actually.
It is adorable. I could just pinch his little cheeks. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I might do it. I'm not going to I won't. I'll wait for a moment. When he's not expecting it. Just go pinch your cheeks.
Oh. I will chuckle behind my hand to like hide the fact that I am chuckling. But it is not very hidden well amongst the four of us.
Alex will cast message so that he can talk with Slugga. Can I help you?
Hey, so free drinks, right? Question mark.
I'm sure that offer extends to the rest of us. Is why the bodies? Oh, you were pointing at everyone else. Never mind.
Yes.
And Slugga, you can find things like bits of yarn or chicken bones. It's really random. You know, some of them, they have like grabbed food, just handfuls of food, and shoved it in their pockets. But weapons are very poor quality. You know, you would think that part of this looks like it was probably refuge that they're using for weapons.
Hey, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are the goblins in the bottom right near the wagon, are they still there, or are the bodies now on fire too?
I mean, they're a little toasty. The ones that were by the wagon.
The one that was singing, I'm gonna ask to do something a little morbid, if I can. Is this one still one piece?
Cooked pretty good.
Can I rip the tongue out?
If you want to reach into the fire, do that. I don't care.
I mean,
you
the
have
wagon.
me roll for that.
I mean, you can drag the body away. The wagon's still burning, so.
I did throw specifically the singing ones into the wagon.
I'm gonna stab its foot with my dagger and try to drag it away, and just if there's anything left of the tongue, even if it's a little burnt, I'm gonna cut the tongue out of it.
Okay.
And I'll just have that in my inventory.
Shall we adjourn to the Rusty Dragon?
Certainly.
We can adjourn to wherever you want, honey, if you're paying.
Not a problem.
I'm just gonna look down at Sammy real quick after she says that and just kind of like whisper and be like, man, Kay really should, maybe get you to start working the door.
That's what I'm saying. I have lots of potential. I'm very talented. You always believe in me, though. You're so sweet.
Do you want to see what Kay looks like?
Would love to. That's Kay.
Oh my god.
You're gorgeous.
That's our boss.
Well.
Who's boss?
Me and Sammy's.
My charisma was a little stronger. Might find another way to get the job I want. Hey.
I currently don't have a Rusty Dragon map in here, so.
We can use our imagination, man. Just describe it.
So the Rusty Dragon is a V shape in a sense. I can take you to the other map.
Oh, I can hear music now.
All of a sudden, it's like louder.
It's a different song too.
I've got to get rid of the old group.
It's a different group of people. They're all corpses.
Attack!
No, Mr. Wigglesby! Mr. Wigglesby, no!
Mr.
No, my Wigglesby.
Wigglesby was our scout weasel.
Wait, so you're telling me that your previous party also had some kind of sneaky animal thing?
Rodent.
Familiar.
Yep.
What the fuck?
We blame the goblins for this.
So where there we're at, item 37, that's the Rusty Dragon. It's a multi-story inn. It's also the oldest inn in Sandpoint. And it is ran by Amiko.
Is she the owner too?
She is the owner. Every now and then, people will convince her to come out and sing. She is a talented bard.
I am going to ask if the music can be adjusted.
In what sense?
I can't turn it down from my end, and it's louder than you guys are.
If you use the volume mixer in Windows, you can just like turn down your specific web browser, and that helps.
He's not on a PC.
He's on his own.
Let's. No.
Oh, are you gonna
That's
try
the-
with Shadow, whatever it fucks?
Okay, how did
Shadows
that work?
Shadow's working through my phone, but not through Samsung Dex, so my phone is completely occupied. But the mixer did work. So
Okay.
I'm good.
The other option is under settings. There's audio and video, and you can change the master volume.
We're good with this. This works perfectly. Thank you for the mixer info. Are we supposed to place our tokens?
No, I was showing you where it was. So Slugga has marked it for you.
I'm the
I was
map,
like,
I'm
where's
the map, I'm the
37?
map.
It is.
I am
I
number
should know where it
37.
was. I was just working there.
Or number 12. God.
So by the time you get down there, there's a few patrons, not very many. It seems that most people have scampered off home after the attack. But there is a halfling running the bar.
Of course.
But you can hear pots and pans banging away in the back. You're assuming that's Amiko.
I'll walk up to the halfling. Would I know this person?
1 second.
We don't need a name for every NPC. You can say like yes or no, or you've never.
She
really
does
thought-
have a name. I just have to find it. The only problem is they only put the info where I'm running 360 pages away from the info it might have her name.
Oh my god!
I'll get you a name. But yes, she does have a name. Anyway, you're more than welcome. You know, Aldrin will go up and tell her to fix whatever you guys would like. And he'll brag to what little group of people's in the tavern about how you all saved his life. And especially Alex.
I'm going to walk up
Ignore
to the
that for
bartender.
now. I'm walking up to the gnome.
I'm gonna walk up to the bartender and slam my hand on the bar top and just say, give me something strong and something pretty. I want it to be both. And I need the cup to have a handle. Okay? Is that alright?
I sit next to Sammy and say, and short and stout.
The halfling will wink. She'll set a cup up, and then you'll see her reach way down under the bar, and she will pull a crystal decanter that is filled with a pink glowing liquid and pour you a drink.
Ooh, fancy. Thank you. That's just what I wanted. And then I'm going to turn around and look at Mr. Fancy Pants and just kind of say, you know, you were calling for help, but my mama always told me that people should learn to help themselves. Why don't you fight?
Well, unfortunately, that's not one of my skill set. You know, if it was, say, boar hunting, that might be a different story.
Oh, you a hunter.
I like game hunting.
Oh.
How would you
Okay.
all like to, I know, how would you all like to go on a boar hunt?
Right now?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Say tomorrow.
Is it a
Anything-
competition?
Well, you know, we can get the boar, we can bring it back and have Amiko prepare it for us. It'd be quite the delectable meal.
Are you alright, Mr. Foxglove? You've just been through a fairly trying time, and this seems odd that we're just getting back into the swing of things after such an odd coordinated attack by goblins.
I really wouldn't know about that. Like I said, I'm from Magnamar, and you know, had no trouble getting here. I mean, the roads were clear. You know, there's goblins that live near the road coming to here, so I really don't know what brought this all on. But I really feel that I should repay you, and what better way than to have a boar hunt? Have some fun.
I mean, I can think of many different better ways. You could just give us some money and we could buy our own boar. And you know, we could buy our own fun, and then we wouldn't have to like lose more of our arrows, like we did saving you earlier.
It's a pittance. It's a pittance. You know, the boar, the thrill of the hunt.
Right. I mean, that's true. That is one perspective to have, sir. Mm-hmm. But there was lots of goblins that were just in here, and it was very specific the way they would just, you know, like coming in here, and they had to go somewhere. And I don't know that you not being able to fight, going out to go hunt something when there could be goblins out there is the best idea.
Well, I think you all handled the goblins. I can't see how they could in any way, shape, or form mount any other form of attack at this point.
No, something's funny about that. I making me uneasy, you know. And I'm just gonna kind of look at the other people in the party.
I'm gonna walk up. Do you think the goblins were more of a distraction for something?
I wouldn't know, my good man. You're the ones telling me how strange it is that they're all grouped together. I mean, one goblin looks like another to me.
Racist.
Speaking of racist, DM, I have a question. Would Allegretto know that there is a group of goblins that eat birds?
Well, they are called the bird crunchers.
Yeah, I feel like that would that'd be pretty high on his watch out for this list, but I'm not sure.
Can I look around and see like who else is in here with us?
Mostly you see a couple of merchants. You thinking uh, maybe some people that were staying at the Rusty Dragon for the Swallowtail Festival.
Okay, so nobody that I recognize or anything.
No.
Okay. What would you have me roll for good or poor massage check? Because it's not a skill.
Own. Who
What?
are you trying to massage on?
Oh, Sammy. Just like her shoulders.
Try acrobatics.
All right.
That is dexterous.
We can't go with medicine. My kind of healy touch thing. No. Okay, acrobatics is worth a shot.
That's not bad. It's maybe a $40 massage instead of an $80 one.
Well, you'll have to see how Sammy feels after it.
Oh, thanks, hon. I appreciate you trying. I know you'll waste all your good energy on your clients. You know, it's all right.
Do you all have horses for the hunt?
Oh, we're hunting still. Okay.
Slugga will hear that as he's drinking and just kind of.
Do you have a tiny one for the tiny rodent?
Well, I can arrange for you to get horses. If that is what is making you reticent about attending the hunt.
I don't have a horse. You know, save a horse, ride a centaur, I always say.
Fuck. Oh my god, I love your fucking sayings.
You fucking kill me, son.
You got one of those?
No. I'm afraid I don't have a sentient beating for you to ride.
No. That's all right. I'll just go back to my Rolodex.
I regret to inform that I have long since parted with my riding horse. Alex says this while writing something down feverishly on a piece of paper.
Well, then I shall have my footman arrange for horses for you at the Goblin Squash Stables. Shall we say the day after tomorrow?
That works for me. I would enjoy a horse.
Certainly. Lord Foxglove, you would travel along the route, along the Lost Coast to get to the Foxgloved River and your manor up therein, right?
Let's see. Yes, the Lost Coast Road does head towards my manor in a sense. Once you get to the Foxglove River, you would turn away to go to the manor. The Lost Coast Road also will lead you down to Magnamar.
Right. I recognize that you are no messenger. However, I have it in good with some of the members of the nobility of the Cougar Creek. Would you be at all indisposed after this hunt of ours if you could pass along a message for me?
Oh, that would be fine. I can have one of my men deliver it.
I'll take out that bit of Lord Tyrannus taking out those bannermen to escort you to Foxglove River then.
Is he asking for a letter to be delivered?
That's essentially what my character is saying. Though you could question him about it.
Just to, I've been reading and listening, but just to clarify, are you trying to send it to someone else in town or out of town?
Cougar Creek is past the pyre, which is essentially a path around a mountain range.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Sammy, finish her drink.
I did.
Roll a con save.
Oh, great.
I'm so excited.
Oh. Oh.
Hey, you did good.
Perhaps it's your stature, but you're feeling a little loose.
Loose. This is where the
As
centaur
in
comes
swaying, not steady on your feet anymore.
in. Gotcha. What time of day is it?
It is
1
in
PM.
the evening. No, it is. It is
Oh, never mind.
Because the attack started at 6 at night.
So I know I had grabbed some food and threw it in my pockets from like the destroyed carts. What do I have?
You probably have some of the venison.
Is it on a stick? I don't remember.
No.
I don't know why, but I really feel like all of this food needs to be on sticks. Okay, well, I'm gonna pull out a piece of venison from my pocket and eat it.
You did ask for a strong drink.
I did.
So now we know it's a 1 drink limit.
That moment when you can't hold your drink as well as the rat.
I want to look over towards Alex and just say to him, Alex, Tyrannus, second of your name, your rodent friend always seems very angry looking when he happens to, I don't know, maybe he understands when I say rodent. What is it?
Are you saying this within earshot of Slugga?
Are you next to Alex?
Probably.
I'm assuming it's not that large of a bar, and probably, yeah, still staying close enough to Alex in the event of communication.
Then I would assume that you would hear it.
Talk just slowly. Not talk. Whoops. Talk is working in this bar today, apparently. Slugga just kind of like, as he's like drinking, like once he hears that, he turns around and just stares and just nods. It's like points at his ears, points at your mouth, and then flips you off.
Well, I think he understands.
First of my name, but I'll excuse the mistake. You see, my friend here lacks... I'm not sure. Quink thinks he doesn't have the proper vocal cords to speak in the common tongue, but I think it's something unfortunately much more mundane. Theories aside, he is very, very, as my character just like looks at him, get flipping her the double bird, cognizant of what you're saying.
I see.
Again, he just kind of nods, pointing at Alex and just giving like a agreeing thumbs up.
The Rusty Dragon along Market Street's probably about 80 feet. Storefront is probably about 100 foot deep, heading back. Each wing is about 40 foot wide, so it is a pretty substantial building, and it does have multiple floors.
Oh,
So-
Gretel, be careful. She looks a little tipsy.
I'm fine. I know my limits. And I'm okay for the moment. I got my meat right here in my pocket. I'm okay.
Okay.
You're
Trust
really
your sister.
pretty.
She should be fine.
Fine.
You'll see Aldrin go up to the barmaid again and just plop a stack of gold coins and says, keep my friends happy. He says, I must go find my manservant. He says, in 2 days, be at the Goblin Squash stable. You'll have your mounts ready.
I'm going to just say, I just want one more drink, and I'm gonna lean over to the bar and try to palm one or two of the coins that he left on the bar top.
Went from a drunk jewel bard to a drunk halfling with a bard. I love it. Or gnome?
Yeah, what are you again? Gnome, halfling?
A gnome.
So roll
Even
a sleight
better.
of hand.
Heart is where the gnome is.
Please. Oh.
Hey.
Do I get any?
You get 4.
4 gold?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like to take this opportunity to be looking at the gold pile and go, oh, that's right. And remember that I need to go work and I would like to go back home to work.
Well, about this time, the door opens to the out towards Market Street door, and you'll see a gentleman you remembered speaking earlier is Sheriff Hemlock. You'll see him look around the room and then focus on your group and start approaching.
Fight or flight response.
Oh,
It's
hello,
fine.
Hemlock, darling. How are you?
Well, it's nice to find you all here. Might I have a word with you?
How can I help you, Sheriff?
Father Xantus has brought something to my attention, and I would like you all to come help in the investigation.
What are we investigating?
I would assume the goblins.
Yes, there seems to have been a break-in in the graveyard.
The
The gra-
graveyard?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No, I don't kid.
He really doesn't.
Oh,
I got this thing about the undead. Okay?
I
don't
will say
like
this
'em.
is
Well,
not
this was a
typical.
break-in, not a break-out.
Yeah, I know, but the spooky stuff. You want us to go to the graveyard to check it out? It's just a little bit spooky, you know?
Yes, and it's nighttime.
Oh, God.
So, what happened exactly? Did someone drop a body or steal a body or what do you mean by what do you take from a graveyard?
We'll have more information when we get to talk to Father Xantos, if you will come along.
This is not typically the kind of work that you ask me for, but I suppose it's work nonetheless.
Well, you've proven to be flexible.
Mom in the back. Oh, God.
if Slugga has a laugh, he has a laugh. I don't know what Slugga's version of a laugh would sound like. I would assume it'd be somewhat normal.
Would you laugh, though? Didn't you just not know what the hell we did? I could have swore last session you didn't know what we did for a living.
No, like it was being hinted at, and he was like, "Oh,
Oh, gotcha.
oh."
I get it. I would probably laugh too. You're right.
All of a sudden, Slugga said, "Oh."
I
I'll just-
imagine it's probably just a goblin. So, one or two goblins left, but the father's panicking. So, given that he's the main reason that the church is here right now, we try to appease him some.
I'll stand up and just like as I'm walking past him, like put my hand on his cheek, and then as I'm walking by and my hand's like leaving his face, just like trail off with my finger on his chin. It's like, you could pay me back for this later, and just keep walking.
Slugga's just gonna put
Well,
his drink aside and just make a retching noise real quick.
He is your boss's boyfriend.
Ooh!
Oh.
So let me DM you because I have a different question now.
Which is like one of the worst kept secrets in town, but anyway.
Hold on. Is there only one sheriff?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna DM you. Hold on. This button. There we go. What was
While you're typing, I'd like to say something.
Okay.
If Sammy is willing, at some point during that conversation, she said, "Let's do it," to me, offering to fly her around Market Street.
Okay.
I would like to pull her outside and just tell her to wait facing the Sandpoint Bridge. If anyone's looking at the map, and I will go back here and just say, "Keep your eyes peeled that way." And I'm just gonna swoop in. I don't want to put a drawing on your map, but I'm pretty much gonna just pick her up and swoop around 39 to 31 to 30 to 36, and then just one loop around the Market Street and sit her back down.
How are you picking me up?
That is the goal, if you allow me to.
Yeah, but how? How are you doing it? In what way?
I pretty much told you to stand facing the bridge and put your arms straight out to the side. And
Okay.
I'm going to...
With your claws? Your talons?
my feet or my hands, whichever...
I need you to tell me.
Is Sammy into feet? Is that what you're trying to get at?
That is not what I'm getting at. But I need you to tell me if you are grabbing my arms, my tiny gnome arms, with your talons, or if you are or if you're grabbing with your arms like bear hug style. This is...
I pretty much have... You're wearing armor, right?
Yeah.
I pretty much have you by your shoulders with my hands.
With your hands. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a locked
not your
under the
talons.
shoulder thing.
Not your
No.
talons. Okay.
I don't want to hurt anybody yet.
Yet?
Okay.
That's the key word.
In that case, I'm gonna start singing very, very poorly. I can show you the world, shining, shivering splendor.
Go ahead and make a con check.
Me?
Oh.
Yes.
God damn it!
And as she starts singing that, I will
Saving
continue
throw?
the song.
A saving throw?
Yep.
Please don't throw up on us.
No, please do.
Nope. You're
Aw.
okay.
So as you start singing that song, Allegretto in his deep voice leans in close to you. Just like, "Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide?"
But I'm duetting with the flying board.
But yeah, we're gonna just fly around once, and I would like to... This is a test for something, like I had a goal for this. I'd like to see if when I picked her up, if she was able to move freely. or is she like restrained? I'm in my head. I'm thinking if I pick her up, could she shoot her bow and arrow? But I'm not saying this out loud.
Probably not. Crossbow maybe, but not a bow and arrow.
All right. Cool. So we will loop back around, and I will sit her down in front of the market street, and just with more energy than you've possibly ever seen him, Alakota will turn around and be like, "That was amazing. You were such a great singer."
Oh my god, I know, right? This is my favorite of all of my voices.
I didn't know that you would know that song. That song has been in my history for years.
I'm a very big fan. Really, I mean, it speaks to me on a level like deep to my soul. You know, I'm impressed.
Very excellent taste. I think we should go back inside.
Once you're getting to the door, the others are coming out.
And then after talking to you, I changed nothing about what happened. Thank you for answering my question.
So,
Does Slugga have time to grab one more drink?
if he grabs one and takes the glass with him.
Well, I do believe he does, if he's allowed to.
Hey, Airee, quick question for you that can be asked out loud. You remember that thing that we talked about for medicine checks?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that I probably would have done that on the sheriff at some point?
Possibly, yeah.
Would you roll a d6 for me?
He has gonorrhea.
Ah. Too bad. Okay, thanks.
Too bad.
So as you're going along, you know, the sheriff will start asking questions like, you know, where you learned to fight, things like, you know, just to each of you, you know, what's your specialty, things like that. So, you know, he'll look over at Alex and go, wizard, sorcerer?
I beg your pardon?
What's your job?
I'm a translator.
Translators don't normally run into danger.
I was in the middle of 2 packs of goblins. I didn't have much of a choice.
Ah, yes, but you went after the nobleman, too.
My character looks back and forth as if this line of questioning is peculiar and prying, and then he squints. I know a cantrip to make things appear.
I mean, he's going through talking to everybody, just trying to get a feel for what all of you can do. He, you know, he'll look at a person. He's like, he'll look at Gagnetta and he'll go, fighter, paladin, just, you know, inquiring.
What designation? My character's in the background. Is like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, he's going into something where he might have to fight, and he might want to know what you guys can do. That you as the wizard would figure that out pretty quick, just from his line of questioning. Because you have about a 5-minute walk to the chapel again.
He's asking all of us this?
Yeah, he's going through trying to figure out, you know, what everybody can do, you know, how you did in the fight, things like that.
Mm.
You know, weapon preference, things like that, because I think Sammy might have a few different weapons on her.
Hi, I'm Sammy. Sammy currently works at the Pixie Kitten.
You're familiar with the sheriff.
Yeah.
So, but he knows you do some bouncer work and things like that, but now you've shown you can do other things. So,
Hold on. I'm gonna DM you as well.
What other things we talking?
well, you do kill goblins.
I walked into that one, didn't I?
He's looking at you guys more as a resource.
Are me and
Well,
Sammy
I'm-
back inside already?
You're telling me
Well,
this
you started
turret-
to go in and they came out. So you kind of got collected with them as they were leaving.
Okay.
I just want to look at Sammy on my way out and be like, "Did you have fun?" As she's too focused on asking God questions.
Gotta be
I mean, her
dedicated to
hair
prayers.
is a little tousled, going more backwards than spiked up. I don't know if you saw what Sammy Lefton did.
I mean, I would have heard you guys talking. She was sitting right next to me.
What did you ask me?
Did you have fun?
Oh my god. I saw the whole universe from up there. I mean, it was amazing. I was flying high. You know, he sounds better, if it's even possible, from a higher altitude. Something about being up there, it makes your voice carry different. Did he sing to you when he was carrying you earlier?
No, we were trying to make sure we weren't dying.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, next time ask for a personal serenade. Or, just start belting one out and see if he kind of jumps in for a duet like he did with me. And I'm telling you, this voice, my voice right now, it is my favorite voice ever. Like, it is made for singing.
I've heard Grotto sing plenty of times. When he delivers my things to my room, we hang out for a little bit and he sings to me. I know how good he sounds.
Yeah, but the
The higher altitude.
the altitudes,
You're right. You're
it's
always
just
all
it's
right.
I don't get sassy with me.
I'm not getting sassy.
You always get sassy with me, and you try to
Not-
pretend like you're not getting sassy, like you're just so no little Miss Perfect. You never get sassy, but I can tell there's sass.
So, what are
Should
your
I-
plans for the future?
The plans for the future? I plan on going back to work soon.
I just want to get my dog. That's all.
How is Bruiser?
You would have to go to the kennel to find out.
They don't let me see.
That's not the jail. You can go to the kennel. He's asking each of you, what do you think about Sandpoint? What are you considering doing in the future? Since you all work so well together, you considering being an adventure group, maybe?
Oh, I am definitely not adventurous in that manner. But if these folk wish to adventure and meet somebody, I do know uh, a nice druid that's been wanting to get out of Sandpoint. That would be probably more than happy to join you all. Sammy, would you be going with them?
If the druid goes, I go. I go where she goes. You know, I don't make any promises until I talk to everybody, until I talk to my friends.
Airee,
Was she
I just DM'd you the letter. It is not currently relevant, so take that at leisure.
I was really only here for a trade mission. I wasn't planning to stay, but we what happens here with these goblins is going to affect my tribe as well. and I probably need to go speak with my father and see uh, what this all means. But let's be on our way to the cathedral and see what it is the sheriff is talking about exactly, and see if this really is the goblin's works.
Down with that. I'll go with you. Let's do it.
Hey, DM, can Allegretto run, I think, nearby real quick?
I don't know, can he?
Well, he will definitely try to fly as soon as he gets outside, but I would like to check to see if Turch Sturgis is okay. The retired fisherman.
Yeah, when you get over to the fish market, you'll see that his sons are armed and he's inside. So they're
I'm not gonna approach them to where like they can see me and talk to me. I will like fly over a building or stay far enough away to where if I can see that they're not in any danger, I'll go back to where I was.
yeah, they have it. Evidently, you can see a few dead goblins around, so evidently they came back to protect the market.
That's good. Sigh of relief.
As you get up to the church, Father Xantus is outside again, and Father Xantus comes up. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you for coming and bringing these fine people. I really don't know what's going on. The crypt is open. I don't know why anyone would want to open the last father's crypt.
When you say open the crypt, did they steal the body as well? Did they steal anything?
Oh my God, I hope not. I didn't think about it. When I saw the crypt was open, we sent word to Baylor Hemlock, Sheriff Hemlock, to come and figure this out. And you'll see that he's getting very flustered. And at this point, Baylor will just say, "Father, go back in the church. We'll handle this."
Uh-oh. Did anybody else see that error that just popped up?
What did it say?
Nope.
I have a black
you-
screen.
Yeah, I
Oh,
also
yeah,
have a black
it is a
screen.
black screen.
Oh, never
I'm the
mind.
only token on there.
I don't even see that. Oh, I see my
God.
token now.
I see
I'm
now.
adding them.
Yeah, no, it just said, this type of media may not be supported for your current browser. Oh, I see a token.
Is the map a GIF? Is that possible for Roll20?
I think Iree's trying to use that thing that allows us to only see within range of our token.
It has dynamic lighting.
Right.
So if anyone has vision, as in dark vision, that I don't know about, let me know.
I'll get rid of my token because I don't know if I should be
That
there.
is a good question.
No, you got it back by then.
Ooh, this music is a bop.
I had to turn the music to like 4%, and I can still hear it. It's crazy loud. I like it.
I don't even have to have the music on because I can hear it from across the room.
I mean, I have a lantern.
Right?
All right, if you have a lantern, then you can light it.
I
Or
have
cast light.
dark
that works
vision,
too.
60 feet.
So you should be able to see, correct?
Good.
Yes, actually.
And who had the lantern?
Well, I mean, if someone else is going to cast something that allows us all to see, then they can do that first. Oil is expensive.
Yeah, Alex can just cast light.
I mean, I've got a torch, but that's it.
Light gives you what? 30
20-foot
feet?
radius,
20.
dim for initial 20.
Let me see what I have.
So 20
Oh, I
bright,
do have a torch.
40 dim.
Did that work for
Wow.
you, Alex?
That works.
I
This is
messed up 2
freaking
things on my
awesome.
character page,
Okay.
my character sheet.
Can everybody see now that Alex is lit up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yes.
nice. I
You're
like that.
using all the cool features.
So I didn't put this on my character, but Airee can see in the dark 60 feet, and there is a racial bonus to perception that's a +2. I may have added that, but I forgot to add the dark vision. I can't see in the dark.
Who the fuck is next to Slugga?
Sheriff
The
Hemlock?
sheriff?
Kill him.
Oh, okay.
I don't trust being next to the sheriff. Sounds like he wants to use homeless people as a resource.
Ah, I got it.
It was the guy you were loving all over.
Yeah.
Who's actually the boyfriend of your boss?
Yeah.
No, I got talents. Let's go. Shake
I
his
mean-
hand.
She's the boss of a brothel. What did you expect?
Something less corrupt than that. I don't know. This is life.
Do we just move
So
around?
ahead of you, you see a crypt, and you see the door is ajar. They're not wide open, but they are ajar.
I would like to ask my first question.
That's so
These
cool.
These trees that are here, how tall are they?
20 feet. They try to
20
keep
feet.
things trimmed and
Alright, I will just fly to the top of one and wait there.
it's
And
not
I'm
very
just-
strong.
The sturdiest point of the tree. If it doesn't hold, I'll move to a piece of stone that's at least 10 feet above the ground, or 5 if I can find it.
There's a statue.
Is that this lovely thing?
Yep.
Okay, so I will fly to the statue's head. We'll say I'm standing directly on it, and we'll just scan left and right. Being a bird.
Is the sheriff hanging back?
No. He is letting you take the initiative. He wants to see what all you're going to do.
Do I see anything from this vantage point?
The side of the crypt.
Okay, not catching anything outside.
Yeah, the doors are mostly closed, not wide open like you're seeing, but you can tell they have been opened.
Gotcha.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm keeping my eye out to see if there's, besides the party I arrived with, I'm looking to see if there's any life within the radius I have.
You don't see anything else. I mean, you see where they've been prepping a grave behind the crypt. But
That,
it doesn't,
that
you know,
won't
it
catch
just
my
looks-
attention. Alright, I will fly back down, and as far as a marching order, I will walk relatively close to Sammy and Delilah.
So is that grave that's dug in the back, is that the one that they pilfered, or is it in this building? This
No,
crypt.
they're concerned about the crypt because this is remember the history. The previous priest died in a fire in the church, and he was laid to rest here. And so, you know, the father was afraid something had happened. Hemlock and on your way over, Hemlock told you think it's probably just one or two goblins, looking for a place to hide. So,
Guys, I know we probably need to go in this crypt, but I just want to know before we go in there. I've heard all sorts of creepy stories, and I don't like crypts. I've said my piece.
Yes, well, I'm sure that's because no one tends to want to end up in one.
It's just creepy. It's just creepy.
Noted. Slugger, if you come up with me, please. My character's gonna.
Quick thing.
I'm assuming the door is closed.
it's ajar. So it isn't fully closed, but it's almost closed.
I thought it was a crypt.
God
thought it
damn
was
it! You
door.
stole my fucking joke.
I could still hear everybody, but I'm running to the bathroom real quick. Be right back.
I was going to suggest that we all take a 5-minute break before we go in.
Already did.
Okay, well,
Everybody want 5?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
I think so.
I am
Looks
here.
like everyone's here.
If you guys, as you're approaching, you can roll me a perception check.
Yes.
I can look, but I
I
can't
will
guarantee
give the help
that
action
I'll
to Slugger.
see anything.
I can look. I can't touch. I'm
Mm.
lactose intolerant. Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Well, one person's not blind as a bat. Aligarto. And yes, I'm going to butcher your name every time.
Not
You're
worried
looking
about it.
around. The ground around this vault is very churned up. You see a lot of footprints, look to be goblin-sized footprints, no shoes. And then there's one set that seems to be by a larger humanoid, looks to be boots.
Where am I seeing this?
In the ground around the vault as you're going up to it.
Like where the pings are?
Yeah, it's just a lot of footprints, a lot of like the goblins milling about, and then the one set of humanoid tracks that seem to go towards the door. Anybody want to try survival checks now that he has pointed out the tracks?
Sure, we'll give it a go.
Yee.
Let's
and I cannot
do
stress
it.
enough.
Hey!
Ha.
I will point them out to the sheriff to see if there is a reaction.
So it was goblins, although there's somebody else with them.
Hey, let's go.
Slugga, Delilah, and Allegretto.
And Sammy.
Where's
I got a
Sammy?
22.
Oh, yep, Sammy too. And Alex.
Everybody.
Pretty much everybody but Ganyetta. You're looking, and after conferring a little, you can tell that there was 6 goblins and a medium humanoid. And it looks like there's a wall past the tree behind the crypt. It looks like they climbed the wall and then approached the vault and then left that way.
Slugga's gonna tap on like Alex and do like this kind of point, mimicking what he has to do for the message cantrip with the pointing.
My character will cast message. How can I help you?
6 goblins, right? Possible lizard with them.
My character quirks finger up, and then he realizes your particular terminology. Yes.
Where did Lizard go? Did he leave with them or still here?
Could still be, yeah. Though I doubt that. Unless there's a portal in the crypt somewhere. Please don't let that be true. Crypt keeping. My character opens the door.
As you open the door, let me hold on.
Wasn't the door already open? Thought it was ajar.
Ajar.
No,
I
it's
just
a
like
door.
swing it open. Just like
Oh,
fuck
okay.
it, kill me.
I'm gonna reach out and
Reach around.
reach around Slugga and put my hand on Alex's arm, and I'm gonna shake my head and I'm gonna try to go in first.
Don't necessarily need to reach around Slugga. You can just reach over him.
Shh. Shh. Shh.
Yeah,
Let
she
it
said
happen.
what she said.
Let it happen.
You don't like being touched, man.
I've had a very trying day.
I'm gonna take a deep breath.
Can you see inside now?
Yep.
And you're seeing there's piles of bones scattered in the corners. And as you walk in, roll for initiative.
Fuck.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Slap him.
Oh, it's not bad.
Slap him in his nuts.
God damn.
Fast as
I'm just-
fuck, boy.
I am distracted by Delilah's figure. I will admit it.
It looks like you're having a stare down with my secret, not so secret love affair, apparently.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go.
There you go. Yep.
Did you have your character selected when you rolled?
No.
Doesn't look
I
like
did.
it.
Yep.
I'd like to think I did.
I did. Because all my numbers were up when I clicked initiative.
I did not.
See, there
I'm
we
gonna
go.
fix it back to my
Oh,
first
it
one.
showed up.
My first one was
Oh wait,
better.
there it is.
Yeah, it just took a second to load. Oh, the
Let me
scary
get rid
things.
of the first group.
My bad. I forget. I gotta click on the character, the token first.
Check your numbers. If they're not right, you can update them.
Are we sticking with the first roll?
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, mine's right.
Oh no. Those are some fast bully boys. Oh my god, there's 3 of them in there.
Why is there a square box around you, Mom? Never mind.
I don't know. I walked in and suddenly there were bones clattering.
Well,
Are
you
we-
walked in, and the bones that were scattered around the corners pulled themselves together and stood up.
Yeah, no one rolls stealth checks. I've realized. Ever. No one's ever stealthy.
No one ever expects to be jumped by zombies.
In a crypt. At night.
After the campaign that brought us together, how dare you guys say that out loud?
My character is the equivalent of a librarian. He would not know or care about zombies.
Slugga is
Librarians
homeless
would
and
know
poor.
more than adventurers.
So you all can hear the clattering of bones as Gagnetta walks in.
I'm gonna turn around and shout out.
Well, not your turn yet.
Oh, okay.
Sammy's turn.
I'm not even in there.
And I
Can
don't know
we-
that you can see anything at this point.
Question. Can Ganyetta see anything? Because it looks like there's a light in there, like a torch. So
I have
does that mean
dark
the
vision.
room is written? Oh,
There
Okay.
is light in the room.
but it's not illuminating everything other than what we can see.
hmm
No.
It's basically centered on me.
Can I hear anything?
You hear the clattering of bones.
That is oh. Well, don't like crypts. I'm going to go to here. And I know I can see at least a little bit from here. Let me see. Would I be able to hit this guy from where this is? I don't know how wide the door is.
You'll get partial cover.
But this guy's free range.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to go after corner dude with my bow. Where did it go?
That rhymed. Bars.
Is that right? That was the damage. That was not. Is that right? No.
No, it's the damage.
This one. Okay. It's. Ugh.
You rolled an 18, which will hit.
Okay. Can I just take the damage that I already rolled?
Yep.
Prior? Okay.
But it is still up.
All right. I didn't move very far, but I guess. Can I take? I'm going to take the rest of my movement. Can I jump on top of this thing?
The crypt?
Of the coffin?
Oh, inside?
Like, no, just on top of the lid.
Yeah, if you want to go inside, you can try getting on top, but if you have the movement to get you there.
I can try. Well, let's see. I move from here, so that's 10. That's 20. I mean, that's.
Yeah, the crypt is 20.
What happens? Yeah, so could I get right on top of there? Like in the corner? Like standing on it?
Yeah, go ahead and make an acrobatics check. The lid is wobbly. It's been opened.
I'm gonna try it.
You can balance.
Okay, so I'm gonna stand right there then. And assume the defensive. And that's my turn.
Did you attack anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I attacked corner dude.
Well, you attacked him.
I was reading a bunch of stuff.
It's his turn. So he's going to try and return the favor. I do believe a 17 will hit you, and he does 8 damage.
Okay.
Cagnetta? You see Sammy? You saw... Oh, man. I closed the game. I closed the game. You saw Sammy go in, and she had shot her bow at one, and it has came over and stuck her with a short sword.
I'm going to move behind it, and I'm going to attack. Hopefully I will do better.
With advantage.
Well, as you move away from where you were, the one that was behind you will swing out. Since you were adjacent to one. Does a 19 hit? That would be your AC number, which circle in blue is 18. So yes, it would. And she's still not using the chat.
18. My AC.
Take 3 damage.
That's not too bad. Now you get to attack with advantage, though, because flanks. Not the meat kind, though.
1 second.
Oh, never mind. I think I see it.
She's like, how do I do this? It should be a toggle. Is there a toggle for advantage? Yep.
Both of those are those are damage,
Well,
isn't it?
yes,
There
that's
is
not her
an
attack roll.
advantage option.
Yeah, it was the wrong thing I hit. I wasn't actually trying to hit that. I was trying to figure out what all. Anyway, hold on.
Try again. That's not with advantage.
It's okay. Just do it again. The second one can hopefully be higher, although 14 seems pretty good, honestly.
Let me show her.
My big babies.
Oh shit! Ignore that. Ignore it.
You know what?
Something that I just about did. Okay, now ignore that.
It's shift click for advantage and control click for disadvantage. So you hit.
You're not using chat again, Mom.
I am not using chat. I was sitting here looking, and there's two numbers or two things. One says 1d6 plus 4, and the other says 1d8 plus 4. And I'm thinking,
It
I know
depends on
that.
if you're using it one-handed or two-handed, I think.
You're using it one
That's
because
the
you're
difference.
using a shield.
Yeah.
But you've already rolled damage above, so
When I hit the wrong thing.
Wait, which
I
thing's
mean,
the damage?
the one-handed, two-handed thing's tricky, but you need to know that as a player when you decide to hit with two hands, because that usually lowers your AC because you let go of your shield.
and it lowers your AC by 2.
Poggers!
Oh.
Yeah, and then like once your next turn starts, you can say I grab my shield again. But like I think you can only switch your weapon once during your turn.
Well, you can drop a weapon and pull one as a move action.
Well, if I was walking into a creepy crypt, I would have definitely had my shield out in front of me just in case.
Yeah, that's why you're swinging one hand instead of two.
And given that you got a spear, you would have been carrying it. So, Slugga! You bring a bat, Slugga?
What is Mom yelling out for?
I hit my toe.
Oh.
Amazing. Sitting at her desk and still gets hurt.
Shut up.
Drive me closer. I want to hit them with my sword.
We are fighting zombies. I mean,
Skeletons.
Something.
well,
Reanimated
regardless,
corpses.
they
Where's
look like they could damage a toe.
Slugga?
I like that Slugga is both silent in game and like so in character that they are silent as the character too.
Method acting.
Mm-hmm. Talk. Are you muted?
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
There we go. We've arrived upon a interesting juncture. I'll tell you what. Ooh, this is fucking cheeky, but we're gonna fucking do it anyways. So, we step in, right, and we see this fella here. Technically 5 feet here from another enemy, which means
I can't see him.
But the rules of sneak attack say that the enemy doesn't have to see him. The enemy of my enemy just has to be 5 feet away from him. Which he is. Around a corner.
Well,
The
he's not.
enemy
He's
of
not
my
a threat because he can't be
But
seen.
I'm behind a wall.
If he was 5 foot to the north, I can see it. But, given that he can't be seen, he's
Can
not
he-
distracting to the mob.
Can he
I'll
see
tell you
this
what.
way?
Yep.
But that's more than 5 feet away, too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So we will go ahead and hold action. Basically because right now I can see both Gan and Sammy. So basically, actually, is this technically something I can hold? The plan was basically prepping to charge in and stab one of these things in the back if they move up towards Sammy or Gan.
So you're going to delay.
Essentially, yeah.
All right, that one moved up.
Sorry. You're as good as Spoon soundboard today, Mom.
Did the music come back on? Out of
Yeah, it's
curiosity.
on.
It did.
Okay. For some reason, it just cut off, and or at least on my end. So that one moved up, Talk.
Excellent. Pity. Time for stabby stab with rapier and dagger combo in the back. And we're getting that advantage. And we're getting that sneak attack, stabby stab.
The most violent of conchos.
Yes.
Well, it'll get its swing too, but go ahead and see what you can do.
Let's hurt him.
Poke, poke, poke.
First rapier, 21.
That hits.
Alrighty. 12 plus the 1d6 for sneak attack. Another 4. Follow that up with the dagger, which is still advantage, so 25. 7.
As this going down, it swings its sword. And Sammy is missed. Sammy,
alive.
the cat rabbit, has came up and killed the thing that was approaching you.
Is it my turn? No, it's not. Okay. Then I will not speak.
Just charges in with this kind of like pittering screech, just angry cat hissing noise.
Slugger, you get hit for 8.
Ow! So basically, he just fucking smashes him into the wall like the Hulk. That's
doing?
Ow! It's not
Alex, you're up.
All right. Alex, after being essentially pushed to the side, is going to see this skeleton just like kind of walk into the darkness because he can no longer see any combatants. Says in his heaving bosom, "What is going on in there?" He's gonna. Oh, that's awful. This is just terrible. And essentially, as my character is going with his words, like, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna try and grappling this thing.
It's what, opposed strength?
Athletics versus his acrobatics, I believe, is how most of that is done. Hashtag please roll 4.
Because he won't have a bonus anyway. So, no, you do not get the grapple.
Darn. Well, my turn's over.
Delilah?
I imagine that I can now, the light source has gone inside. I can see this from where I'm at, right?
Oh,
If
yeah.
you can stay in there, you should be able to see the light wherever the light's letting you see. Is it not
Okay.
letting you see?
No, I can see. I just wanted to double check. So I'm gonna go here and then up one. Oh, that's fucking amazing! You guys were able to see all of this? Sorry. I'm gonna move 25 to here, and then I am just going to smack it in the back of its head with my quarterstaff. I apparently have no idea how to roll. Oh, never mind, it worked.
You miss.
Alex, duck!
Wait, what? Huh!
Allegretto?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Can I see this thing from
Yep.
where I currently am?
Can you see it?
You should be able to see it. Is your vision working?
So he's got it set up, Spiral, to where if you can see it, then yes, you can see it.
All right, cool. Give me.
For example, let me bend the rules of time and space for a second. You're like, can you see it? Can you see it now?
I can see you down there. I can't see
There you go.
whoever's here and whatever Sammy is next to. Well,
Yeah, if you go in the building, then you'll see what I mean.
Yeah, because the dynamic lighting, there's actually walls drawn in, and you couldn't see in initially until I moved the wall that represented the door.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're on measurement. He's 20 feet. I'm gonna fly anyway because I'm a bird. I'm gonna be a couple feet off the ground, maybe 5 to where I could still get in a doorway and not hit my head on anything. I'm going to have my dagger in my right hand, and I'm just going to fly as fast as I can and go straight for the. Essentially, are these bones?
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a skeleton?
It looks like a skeleton.
I'm going for the spine, through the front or back or wherever this thing is facing. I'm going for a dagger strike to the spine. Ugh. Jesus.
You hit.
Oh,
But
8
it's still
piercing
up.
damage then. Cool. Well, I am right in front of its face.
Did you see how it changed when you got in?
Yeah. That's amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
That is fantastic. I am going to look over to Sammy as my dagger hits it and just say, "Fly, kill it, destroy it." And I will give you my last bardic inspiration. Do I need to put it in chat, or can I just mark it off?
You mark it off. Just tell
All right.
Sammy what it does.
You get a. Oh my god, where is it?
It's a D6, I believe. At first level.
Sections. Yes, you get a D6 to use for attacks or saving throws. You can use it right after you roll, but before the DM tells you if it hits or not.
Okay.
I'll
Cool.
remind you.
All right, cool. So it's my turn. So I'm just gonna say, "Oh my god, thank you. I really feel like I needed to hear that." And I'm going to hop. Oop. I'm gonna come on. Hop over, and I'm going to, with advantage. That's right. Deet. Come on. Which one's advantage? Control or is it shift? Oh, there it is.
I believe.
Shift. Go with my hand axe.
You hit.
And
If you click where it says hand axe, it should roll.
so, question: the D6 is the D6 to hit?
Yeah,
You
it's
can
to
add a
hit.
d6
Okay.
to what the 7 is.
Okay, got it.
But
Okay.
she has advantage, so
Yeah, that 22. If it was gonna hit.
You're good then.
Okay.
You don't have to use it then.
So, all right, I'm gonna go down with my hand axe and try and like go across his gullet, and then with my bonus action, I will be going in with my dagger to get him across his, well, I guess not his throat, his neck. And I believe the 15 hits.
okay. The offhand should not be getting the strength bonus.
Strength bonus.
Right? It should just be a flat.
What's a strength bonus?
What's your strength? Or
My-
dex? Depending
my-
on which one of them's +4.
Yeah, my dex is +4.
Yeah, but when you're fighting with the offhand, unless you have... Do you have 2-weapon fighting?
Yeah, it was my bonus action.
The 2-weapon fighting that allows you to get your bonus.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're trying to tell me.
Are you talking about like the feet?
Typically, when you're using 2 weapons, unless you have an ability that specifically allows you to use them without penalty, the offhand does not get the damage you would get from your strength or dex. You would just get base weapon damage.
So I just pushed the button. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not necessarily smart.
Okay. What?
Because a dagger could be your main hand, and then see, that would be right. Give me just a second.
Oh, so are you asking which one is in my right hand versus my left hand?
Well, yeah, your offhand weapon is typically your second weapon, so your main weapon would have been your hand axe.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And you are a ranger. And you're not high enough for... See, like, okay, this is for ranger at level 2. You pick your fighting style, and they have 4 to choose from, but one of them is 2-weapon fighting, which says when you engage in 2-weapon fighting, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack. So instead of this one doing 7, it does 3, because you aren't to the point where you can add that ability modifier.
Is there a way for me to, when I am pushing the buttons in D&D Beyond, like set that, or?
I'll probably have to make you one specifically for offhand,
Ah,
and
okay.
I can go in and do that.
You can
So-
also roll your 1d6 or whatever.
Well, this one's a D4, and when you hover over that 7, it shows you what you rolled. So you rolled a D4 plus 4, which the D4 rolled a 3. So you did damage it.
Gotcha.
It is still up.
Got it. Okay.
But that's the thing with 2-weapon fighting. Yes, you can 2-weapon fight, but until you gain an ability like rangers can get if you pick that at level 2, you just do base weapon damage.
Okay.
So, and that also applies, we'd had to check the rogue, but odds are the rogue's the same way. All right, Cañeta.
Okay.
There's one skeleton left.
I am actually going to climb over. Can I climb over the little skeleton bone piles?
they'll scatter as you walk through.
I have only one lay on hands left, and I'm going to use it on Slugga.
All right, that's 5 hit points, right?
That's right, 5. Yep.
So, Slugga, you get back 5.
Yay.
I'm going to just sort of look down at you and say, let me touch the top of your head, and then you're going to feel much better.
Wait, what? Did that
is that
one
a
just
new
get
one?
back up?
No, I'm moving. them.
Okay, I was about to fucking have a heart attack.
Yeah, me too. I was like, caw,
What just happened?
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance!
the dead body's
But
moving.
not for
Destroy
me.
it quickly.
Okay, so Gagnetta's done. Slugga, there's one target remaining.
You nearly broke my ribs. Now I'm going to break yours. Stab.
I assume all of the things that Talk says are all internal monologue that none of us ever hear.
Yeah. Maybe occasionally out comes
wait,
just
wait,
like
speaking.
I mean, do you give any visual stances of "I'm about to fuck you up"?
I mean, he does give the middle finger from time to time.
So me being literally
Advantage?
5 feet next to you, I can see how you're looking aggressively at this skeleton.
Yes.
You hit.
You can see
That's
the
all.
void.
That's all I need to know.
You can see the void in his black eyes. Plus, we have that 1d6 from sneak attack.
There you go. And this is level 1 sneak attack.
Yes.
Sneak attack is dangerous at higher levels. It is,
It's dangerous at lower levels, I mean.
but like higher levels when it goes well, it's just like, hey, you guys have a secret opponent. It's like, well, I sneak attack on him. When you did 68 damage, well,
You had a secret opponent.
they're gonna run away now.
They have
Right.
-2 health.
All right,
Negative
so
2.
that is it. The bones now lay scattered yet again around the room.
We're gonna stomp on them a little bit just to make sure they stay dead.
Be out of combat.
Yeah, you're out of combat.
Oh,
I am going to leave immediately and just fly behind the sheriff and watch from here. I'm not even facing him. I'm facing every direction except for where he is next to me, just to see if anything else is coming.
I would like to search the room.
Roll perception.
I'll take the help action while he's cleaning himself
Is
off.
that me rolling?
No, help action. That means I do it again, right?
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Who's rolling perception?
I am.
Whoever wants to search the room.
I guess
yeah,
so.
and that.
Oh, you.
Help action, bext action. All right.
Yeah, I'm just looking around outside.
First thing you notice is the casket is open.
Oh, by
The lid is still off. Is set off to the side. Another thing you notice in the northwest corner, there's a robe laying in the corner. And when you're looking at the robe, it looks like it's had some patches torn off of it.
Alex is gonna move to wipe his hands on his robe. He's going like, "Oh, by the gods, is there anything in this town that's not going to be defiled today?"
I'm going to step outside and ask Sheriff Bailey. Oh, no?
Oh, hold on. I'm answering another question. No, Alligato. I was expecting goblins, not skeletons. There's
This is
no
highly
skeletons.
unfortunate.
somebody had to summon them.
Ah.
So what was your question, Gagnetta?
I was gonna go outside and to make room for Sheriff Baylor and ask him to take a look at the robe and look inside the casket, maybe?
Anybody want to look inside the casket?
I do.
Heavens, no.
I mean, I wouldn't even recognize the other guy. I wouldn't recognize who the body was, right?
Well, you know, the body in question was the priest that died 5 years ago.
I would know that, right? Because we've been in the town for
If
that
you were
long.
if you were in the town during the time of troubles, then yes, you would know that the priest burned to death and his remains were interred here.
I want to look in the coffin.
Wait,
Because if it's been...
wasn't he the one who choked to death on a chicken? But no, that was Romalius III. Never mind, continue.
Sammy, there is nothing in the sarcophagus. Whatever was there, you're assuming the remnants, the bones of the priest, they're gone.
This is far out of my area of expertise.
Anybody pick up the robe?
I want to pick up the robe, and if nothing happens, I want to take it out to the sheriff and ask him if he knows who it belonged to, or if I can look at it and be like, oh, this is what blah 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 is usually buried in, blah blah, or whatever.
No, it's to me it just looks like a robe. It had something attached to it, but they've been ripped off, so could be anybody's robe.
Was he a powerful spellcaster or holy man?
Father Tobin, he was a holy man, but he was interred here. I don't understand why anyone would take his bones, but at this point, given the unrest we've had today with the goblins, I would advise not telling anyone else of this. We don't need another panic.
Yes, and we certainly don't need anybody assuming they're going to be murdered over ostensibly spell components.
Did we see any tracks or anything out there?
Yes, there were tracks leading behind the red tree behind the crypt. There's a
Oh.
wall. The city wall was there.
Okay.
So behind... I forgot to draw it in, sorry. I was playing with a new program I had, so...
So basically, if we were to try and follow anything, we would have to scale a wall.
It looks like, yes, you would have to get to the top of the town wall, which a couple of you probably could manage. One's a ranger, one's a rogue. Shouldn't be too hard for you guys to scale.
One has wings.
One has wings.
Very easy for him.
I reckon we should just follow our noses. It smells dreadful. Excuse me, Delilah. Yeah.
I'd like to just go see if I can get on top of the wall and look past, but I am going to do it stealthily.
Well, Sluggo will probably
stealth.
join in. There are a couple of things he's good at, stealth being one of them, so if we're trying to track down people and be sneaky about it, then he'll probably help out.
I believe I'm in chainmail, so I am not stealthy at all. In fact, I'm kind of jingly jangly.
Well, you two can go to the wall and see about scaling it. That would be athletics.
Where's the wall?
Behind the tree. Back over here.
So I can't see.
Do you have a torch?
I have a lantern.
What is the distance on your lantern?
That is a good question, ain't it? One sec. Where are you? Where are you, lantern? Come here. 30 foot bright, 30 foot dim. And I can also reduce the light to dim light in a 5 foot radius if need be.
Well, which do you want?
Well, I need to be able to see where I'm going, so we're gonna go with the...
If we
Right now it's set to 30-30. Did it come through?
Yes. Ooh, that's bright. Holy shit.
if we carry it, though, we're not going to be stealthed anymore, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, people will see you coming.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Do you-
do it in the dark.
Yeah, we'll put it to dim. We'll put it to dim mode just for that 5 foot of not running into things, but also not being easy to spot.
How's that?
That works well enough. Like, I can see Sammy as long as I'm standing right next to her.
Come on, cootie pie.
That might be something you guys want to think about is how are you going to deal with vision?
But when we get up there, we're not going to be able to see anything, are we?
Well, you say that, but how tall is this wall?
Athletics check.
Wait, but how tall is the wall?
About 15 feet.
Fuck. Actually, hold on, I just want to check and see. There's a calculator out there that tells you how high your character can jump, right?
Well, you're a bunny.
Exactly.
Didn't bunnies have a jump?
We have a specific set of numbers for their jumping.
Let's see.
I thought it was, as far as like jumping, it's like half your full movement is how high you can jump, but I'm not sure.
It's 15.
Let's see.
This is the red tree, right?
Yep.
I think I want to check around the red tree. Just for anything else.
You see footprints coming and going back to the wall. Coming from the wall towards the crypt and coming back from the crypt towards the wall.
Okay. Well, I doubt with my athletics I'm going to be able to climb that wall. So,
No, you didn't make it.
yeah.
I'm waiting on Slugga.
What a shame.
So, here's what I'm thinking. So, we're doing the 10-foot vertical with the hair jump. If I add in possibility for athletics, as long as I get enough for 2 extra feet, I can grab ledge and climb over. Well, technically, I don't even need a full 2 feet, but
You need to be how?
I'll roll your athletics.
Would be athletics or acrobatics?
Athletics.
Fuck. That's the wrong tab. Come on, Jesus.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
You get a hold of it. You can pull yourself up to the top of the wall. One-handed with the lantern in the other hand.
I'm a little scrap, ain't I?
And as you're looking over, you can see that there is a ladder on the outside of the wall.
Mine. We shall use the ladder to assist the other small one with climbing. Is it like rooted in place, or is it like a a breaching ladder, as they say.
It just looks like a ladder, like you'd probably pick apples in a tree.
Okay, so I can pull it up over the wall so I can put it on the inside for Sammy to climb up on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to do that. You'll just kind of disappear over the edge for a second. Hear some little rustling noises, and then down descends a ladder, and Slugger just pokes his head over and just goes, Just little pleased noises with himself, like he's happy with how he did.
Is it? Do you have like a deep voice for these grunts, or is it like a high-pitched, adorable voice with these
It
grunts?
depends on the noise.
Okay. In this case.
In this case,
phrasing?
it's a bit more... What?
Phrasing?
No. Anyways. For this one, since it's more of a I'm pleased with myself and not a I'm in combat and trying to scare the shit out of somebody noise, it'll be a bit more so on the higher pitch side.
Just so adorable. Yes, I will climb your ladder. Oh my god,
I
I
just
just
want to
love
point
you
out
so much.
that Sterling Archer will easily kill a group of people before asking questions. That's all I got.
I'm being stealthy.
What?
I'm just poking my little head up.
The voice that Spoon plays that says phrasing. He's like a secret agent. If you've ever watched the show Archer.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
have
it's not the coach from that one weird show.
Whole movies? No. Same voice actor.
Oh.
But he is essentially the 007 of a bullshit agency.
Back to D&D.
I climbed the ladder. Stealthily.
Okay. You get to the top, and looking down, you can see some footprints. The woods do come up pretty much all the way up to the wall, so the footprints quickly disappear into the woods.
We don't see anything else other than more
Well,
footprints.
You're 15 foot in the air, so that's what you see right now. Plus, you have 5 foot of light, so if you can't see in the dark, you're just really seeing what's around you.
I'm not going over there.
I mean, you can try opening the lantern, see if you see anything, but...
I mean, we do have the ladder, too. We can just pull it back over, extend it down, climb down real quick, then climb back up.
I have 5 hit points. I am
have
in
6.
pain.
We are both in pain. Why are we the ones that are going to do this? Why is everybody else getting to chill with the sheriff? By the way, who is fucking useless, not doing his goddamn job.
You guys filled up the room pretty well.
I would like to point out that out of character, we left a fight that we could have possibly lost and went into another one without taking any rest of any kind. And now we're back in
Yeah, but
character.
you didn't get hurt.
This wasn't supposed to be a fight.
I was at 3 HP coming into this.
No, you
Back
weren't.
to D&D.
All right. Well, I'm at this point in pain and have not truly decided whether or not I'm getting involved. So I'm climbing back down the ladder. On the city side.
So, discussing it with Hemlock, he says it looks like somebody was after the father's bones, but I have no idea why. Evidently, the other goblins' attacks during the festival were a distraction.
It seems like the outcome that there's no precursor to any goblin invasion of any description. They've not been mobilizing in force. I've not heard any of the swineherds complain that they've had their stock taken. Nothing. It's just they showed up one day and they were obstinate and annoying with their singing, and then they just started trying to kill people, and they didn't even run when they were outnumbered.
Sheriff, let me ask you. Would it be wise or any of your concern to post a watch around this crypt overnight?
Well, I think now they've got what they wanted.
I'm with the sheriff on this one.
I mean, we're stretching our patrols thin, just trying to make sure there's no goblins in town.
Think there's any chance the goblins could have acquired something and left town?
Well, I think it's pretty evident what they acquired. They've acquired Father Tobin's bones. And I'm not sure who the large humanoid would be, but that's the only one with booted feet. The others were goblins and bare feet.
So we must be discreet in searching for.
Well, it's too dark to chase a trail tonight. I doubt most of you can see well in the dark. We did capture a few goblins. We might can get some information out of them tomorrow.
Oh, goody. I assume my services are required.
Yes, if you care, I'll come by tomorrow to the jail and see what the goblins have to say.
So,
We'll look
Real
to Alex and ask, will you be accompanying the goblins tomorrow?
I beg your pardon?
Do you wish to question them?
Can you speak goblin?
No,
I can
but I do have other persuasive tactics, and I just put my talons up in front of me.
The difference between an interrogation and a beating is words, my friend.
I understand. I will quietly be kept to the side unless my talons are needed. If they are not needed, then I will just be a bystander.
If I think you just told me you wish to hang around in case a goblin needs to be beaten.
You could look at it that way. There are some goblins that don't take kindly to bird folk.
I suppose they would also not take kindly to be bound in ropes and interrogated, but here we are.
Yes, but there are some who specifically aim to end the life of bird folk.
What?
I'm just trying to make sure. So you've heard of it?
I've heard of a number of these tribes. Ganeda mentioned them not but like an hour ago? Like it looks like Ganeda.
There are a number of tribes, and one of them do enjoy snacking on birds, unfortunately. But you're a fairly large bird. I'm sure that any goblin would be intimidated by you.
I don't know if that's 100% the truth, seeing that I did have to electrocute a few of them myself. But we shall find out. This is very interesting news to me.
You can always just pick the admirals out. I've seen ravens do that.
Speaking of ravens,
Anyone
shall
who's close
see
to
you-
Allegretto,
I shall see you tomorrow evening. Hemlock, I shall send Blick to get you in the morning. Or vice versa. I don't really care. I'm going to bed.
Let's go by and see the father, and then we'll all head out our separate ways.
Very well.
So
He
real quick-
deserves to hear what we found.
Wait a moment.
Where's the rodent?
So, real
yeah,
quick
Tuck,
before
where are you?
I keep on trying to say that Slug is doing something, but nobody seems to hear me. But real quick before Slugga ends up leaving the wall, he is just gonna move the ladder back over to the outside and basically sneak down just to double check to see are there 6 tracks of goblins leaving and the one humanoid tracks leaving.
Roll your perception.
Or would that be survival? Actually, yeah,
If you're
we'll go
gonna
perception.
track them, it would be survival. If you're just sitting there trying to see the footprints and calculate who they were.
Yeah, that's safe perception. Yeah, I think 24. That's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
it looks like a group of 6 goblins and then a larger booted something.
Okay. Having satisfied the curiosity, climbs back up top, and takes the ladder with him, and climbs back down and continues taking the ladder with him to eventually come back to the rest of the group.
I assume by this point, Alex would have started casting message and essentially say to Slugga as he's walking back, Slugga, the deer are looking to scatter.
Well, I can understand that. We've clearly got some drop wigs around.
So, as you're getting back to the cathedral, one of the side entrances, an acolyte will let you in, and he'll tell you Father Xantos is in the main cathedral. Let me give you a little info on the cathedral.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was gonna be followed up with, and he's been murdered.
This cathedral ended up being built on the foundations of the previous channel. It's not dedicated to a single deity. Under its eaves, there are 6 commonly worshipped deities in the region, which is Abadar, Desna, Aristril, Gazra, Serenre, and Shaylin. The building provides chapels for all of these deities in a communal forum. In a way, it's a cathedral is 6 different churches under one impressive roof. With a little more knowledge that the locals would have, this previous chapel is still not the first chapel that was on this holy site. The core of both the original chapel and the new cathedral is an open-air courtyard surrounding a set of 7 standing stones, which themselves surround a circular stone altar. And the Varesians have used this place for worship for centuries. You know, the Varesians typically venerated Desna, but they also venerated other imperial lords. I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. Empyreal. So, the stones are much older than than either church ever was. So you can find him in the courtyard area where the standing stones are. So you'll see him come rushing up to you. So what did you find?
Unfortunately, it tends to be more about what we didn't find that seems to be the problem.
The tomb was disturbed?
Incredulously so. It would appear that the goblins were being led by someone. This, my character looks left and right. Is there anyone in proximity? Other than...
No. That he came to this area just to rest. The other people are inside other areas of the church. So, because this is an open air area where you're at.
Okay. My character will look left and right just to make sure no one's inside of the room except for the appointed party. It would appear that the goblins are being led by someone who has ordained to make our harrowing experience this morning. My character will pantomime circling his finger in the air. A distraction for more insidious purposes of which we have yet to define. Would you happen to know of anything on our deceased father's person that could have been of importance? A spell component? A relic?
No, the father, he was virtually cremated during the fire. We took care to bundle up his remains and interred him. That particular crypt is where many acolytes or other things, as they die, would be interred for a while at least. I don't know why anyone would want to break in and steal his remains. It does not make sense. Was there anything else there?
Other than his robe, which was in slight tatters, indicating that it was potentially a component pouch or something that was torn off, I couldn't have ostensibly know anything else. There were cadavers of the previously unliving. They decided to up and attack us for a short while. We dealt with them.
Father Tobin didn't have a robe on. His body was wrapped in linen, and he was put in the sarcophagus.
It was within a corner of the crypt.
Might I see it?
My character motioned to Delilah.
I hand over whatever you guys are talking about.
The robes.
I hand over the robes.
And are these familiar?
As you're holding them, he'll cast a spell. He says, well, they do have a weak magic to them now, but no, I don't know whose robes they would be.
Ah, well, it looks like I am finally in the business of being useful. I would like to cast Identify. I can't cast Identify. I don't have the pearl. Fuck.
The legitimate anger there is the first time I've ever heard you make any kind of noise like that, Spoon.
Spell components bullshit.
Do you not have an arcane focus?
It doesn't matter. It costs 100 gold pieces.
Oh!
Statement rescinded. My character is going to look at the priest. He's like, would you happen to have a pearl I could borrow?
No, my child.
Can I look through my stuff and see if I have a pearl out of any of the shit that I've been given over my decade service of dick taking?
Is it worth 100 gold pieces?
That may be the best statement that has ever come out of your mouth in any other campaign ever.
I do.
Look, you guys haven't been in campaigns with her that I have, so you don't know if that's true or not.
The ones she just said that she heard.
Shut up! I'm trying to have a joke.
Real quick, for the Identify spell, is the pearl burned on usage?
No.
So the pearl stays behind?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're asking for a pearl. I'll tell you what, odds are you may or may not know this, but Slugga has an old trinket from his family that is a pearl.
Is it worth
Depends
only
on
gold pieces?
I don't. How do you check the price of a pearl? Because all it said was you get a trinket and it's a pearl.
Yeah, and trinket is probably 10, 15 gold. In this case, 100 gold pearl is very impressive given the economy. The father says, no, I don't have a pearl, but I can tell you that the robe has some form of transmutation, although it seems to be fading.
My character squints, looks left and right, is like, fading.
Yes, whatever the magic was, perhaps it was on whatever was ripped off of it.
Are there any other patches at all left on this robe?
No.
Am I allowed to check my stuff that I now finally have to see if I have a pearl worth that much? Have I not been able to acquire 100 gold at least in the decade of service? Am I a cheap whore?
So what you're saying is that if the homeless guy needs somewhere to sleep tonight...
I apparently have a warm cave.
What? Oh.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
That was...
Any port in a storm.
It's better than being outside.
All right, could I make an Arcana or a History check to discern what this rogue could be?
Go with Arcana.
Oh, goody. I don't know shit.
Can I roll like a d20 to determine if I can do this or not?
Roll 100. If you get 100, then you have a pearl of that value.
No, bet. Roll. /1d100. Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
You have various things, but not that.
You have a pearl worth 8.
It's one of my nipple piercings.
Ha! Mine's bigger than yours.
Anybody else have Arcana?
Let me check.
I mean, I can try it.
Yeah, I could try it.
No.
Hold on.
These are horrible rolls.
I am not smirk.
Delilah, what you think is maybe the patches somehow brought the skeletons.
I relay that to the group.
Because, like the priest is saying, Father Santos is saying, is, the magic is fading from the robe. So whatever magic it was some transmutation or conjuration magic. And so each of the patches probably summoned one of those skeletons. So odds are the robe came with whoever was with the goblins. So the Father will thank you again as you are walking out of the central area back into the temple. You'll get into an area where they're still helping the injured, and as you're going through, each of you will have people coming up and be thanking you for helping to fend off the goblins. You all seem to be recognized as the group that was taking care of the goblins. People might have seen the guards as they were fleeing, but they saw you guys fighting at the cathedral.
Is that what you call getting turned into porcupines?
Well, they didn't see you at the north gate.
That's fair.
So, but you've had at least 8 people walk up to you and thank you. So they seem to recognize you, your faces. So
I'm gonna
I would hope so. After
make
all those
my way back to
competitions.
I'm gonna make my way back to the brothel while doing a small little bow to everybody that decides that they want to interact with my person on the way back, because a bitch gotta work. Bow.
Bow.
So as everyone,
In real life, I was bowing every single word I said.
I could hear it. I could hear it.
Gotta work.
Goodbye.
So as everyone's kind of walking back, Slug is kind of he's looking as people are going their own separate ways, and he's having these moments of hesitation where he's everybody's going their own places, and he's clearly not sure where to go for the night. So he's kind of walking along with the group, and he's just kind of looking around between everybody as they're starting to walk off, and he's almost got this look of lost type deal.
Would I notice the look of loss?
roll perception.
I'm asking the same question. My passive is 14, but I will roll for it.
Man, God, I'm stupid.
Oh, that's lower than my passive.
It is quite
Yes.
dark.
Yeah, Sammy, you can see Sluggo looking down alleys and not sure what he's thinking.
So I'm just gonna look at him and be like, little guy, oh, do you want to come home with us? Cause we got the room. You a little thing, I'm a little thing. We find places for little things. Are you hungry? You need a place to stay?
Sucker kind of pauses and then just like, kind of just slowly nods and he's just like,
I promise I won't try to pinch your cheeks, okay?
He lets out a little bit of a chuckle. It's clear he's kind of warming up to the group a bit more since initially at the start of the day he was kind of apprehensive with everyone save for Alex, but now he's kind of warming up to everyone a bit more.
Just follow us, honey. We got you.
And so he will.
So that's 3 of you going to Pixie's kitten. What about the other 3 of you?
For me,
I'm
because
asking you first.
Gunyet is going to go meet up with her father, and because they're kind of nomadic, they are actually staying just outside of town, across the Sandpoint Bridge, and just sort of camping out there with their group.
I'm holding for talent.
I could just answer out loud then. I'll look over towards Greto and just be like, if you could bring another down comforter in the newest book release that just came out, I would appreciate that, Greto. Thank you.
Me personally, as a player, the newest what?
Book. I don't know
Newest
any
book?
names of famous bookies here, so book was my answer.
You said book. That works for me. I just wanted to, for me as a human, to hear what you said.
Yeah. Book. I could probably speak Greto. Bookok!
I mean,
The level
You-
of
you-
racism.
you would know that at this point he doesn't speak. If there is a common tongue of the Eric Crocker language, he does not speak it.
Well, I wasn't actually saying it in that language anyway.
I mean, this is just some lore. If there was ever a point where you saw him and another bird folk, they were not speaking in their own tongue. It was common.
Gotcha. Okay. My comforter and book, good sir.
Who's next?
Yeah. With hearing that information, question, DM, is this us like sleeping for the night?
Yes.
Instead of the Rusty Dragon, wherever that name, I am going to fly to the ruins of the old light.
Okay.
And wherever is the highest point of those ruins, I will stay there. I will just roost on the highest point that I can.
Are you bringing me my stuff first or no?
Yeah, if I can get them during the same day. If not, I'll bring them in the morning.
Oh, okay.
She needs a cloth, a down comforter, and what else did you say?
Whatever the latest book release is in this town.
I just realized, why do you need a new down comforter?
The last
Don't
one was
know.
soiled.
Yeah, I figured as much, alright.
None of us can understand him. Stop it. You'll find out
But-
if I get my damn comforter.
To be honest, Allegretto would not ask you why you need something.
That's great. I
Because
just want to know
he
if I get
he
it
has
tonight or not.
been known to give people stuff who ask him for favors through his guild that he could apply to. He's not going to ask, like, what do you need this for? It's just like, well, this person seems to be kind for the most part, and they're not a piece of shit on the other part, so I will bring them whatever they need as long as they, provide for it.
Okay, skipping ahead. DM, is he able to get that stuff tonight? Or is it too late?
He could probably get a blanket or a comforter of some kind from the Rusty Dragon.
Would it be a down comforter or no?
Probably more of a wool.
Okay, that's fine. That'll work.
It'll come like usual through the landing on top of a building, the light tapping of your window, the me waiting for you to respond to your said tapping on window, and then me giving it to you.
Okay. Now, talk. Unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure me and Sammy share a room. Because we're supposed to be roommates, I thought. So let me double check that information. Are me and Sammy in the same room?
Like a room, or is it like a suite with like multiple bedrooms?
I like these questions. God,
It's a room.
it's a room.
Single room. Is it the same room where she works?
No.
Thank God.
Ooh, that'd be awkward.
Oh.
It's like
He
you
says
like
that.
wake up in the middle of the night like, man, I'm feeling awfully
Okay,
Oh,
so now
hi. Good morning.
that's one way to, quench a thirst, I guess. Anyway.
Sip
Stop.
thirst.
That is one
So-
tap we don't need tapped.
I know
Thank you.
I was making those jokes yesterday, but stop.
So, with that being said, that means that now in a separate room, not the one I work in, that it's me, Sammy, and now Slugga, right? Because Slugga followed us.
Oh, I was muted.
Yes,
What?
you were.
I was gonna say I just need a little bit of in between information. Am I delivering this stuff to her room before disguises or afterwards?
Before what?
Disguises.
Disguises?
What?
There are no
Never mind.
disguises.
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Just bring me the damn shit like normal!
I'm doing that.
I
Okay.
don't have that many wives.
Okay, so it's all three of us. So I am going to go over to my bed. I am going to take the down comforter that I actually have, that is not sullied by other bodies other than mine, wrap it up to a good, decent, length and size and all that, and place it in some part of the room for Slugga. And then I will put the new blanket on my bed since it is not as comfortable and we have a guest in my personal dorm.
Is my bed a gnome-sized bed or a full-size person bed?
Or do we share
Full.
a bed? Oh,
Okay. Like you're more than welcome to share
mean,
the
it's-
bed with me.
It's human-sized bed. How's that for a word?
That works. You're more than welcome to share the bed. We both tiny little things. When you're not going to encroach on my territory. If you want to sleep on the floor, you can sleep on the floor. But I'm not giving up my bed. So you can join me, or you can sleep on the floor.
So Slugga kind of looks, seeing like how Delilah's like giving up her comforter for him to sleep, and he's just like stares, and he like picks up the comforter, puts it back on Delilah's bed. It's still wadded up. Like, let's be honest, he probably doesn't know how to make a bed. and comes over to Sammy's bed and just kind of hops up and is just kind of awkwardly looking around like, how are we doing this? How are we... What is going to be the arrangement here?
Do I have, like, when we're talking about, like, real life beds, is her bed like a normal twin and mine is also a normal twin?
Probably yes.
Okay.
Because you're putting 2 beds in one room.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take like a wad of blanket and like build up a wall in the middle.
Yeah, that works.
So we have 2 little squares.
That'll work. Slugcat just kind of sets his bag off to the side and like basically just curls up on his side and seems rather happy at having something soft to lay on.
I'll put my down comforter back on my bed, I suppose.
I'm gonna take the gold that I was able to snag and empty out my pouch and start counting my coins in the middle of the bed.
Does Slugga get big-eyed?
Yes, he does. He kind of like looks over and just stares. Well, actually, how much is it specifically?
Why do you need to know that?
You
Because-
can't understand him.
He's asking God.
Yeah. Well, technically you, since you also know the amount, because it does change how his reaction might be.
It only is 24 gold.
Oh, yeah, no, that certainly gets the wide-eyed stare, just kind of, just like, eyes locked on, just, like, have you ever seen a cat just, like, staring at something off in the distance, just kind of that similar look, just of, what is that? That is...
I have a question for Slugga Talk. Like,
Sure.
when his eyes are like wide-eyed, is it very apparent that the black part of his eyes are wider than the rest of his face?
What?
I'm going off of the actual image of your character.
Yeah, so, just for ease of explanation, yes. I think.
Like, if you're
I'm gonna
wide-eyed, the image that I see on Roll20 for your character where everyone else is, if you're
Yeah.
looking at like gold or something you're interested in, they're naturally a little bit wider than that, but not too much.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Like, right
So-
now, these eyes are, like, attentive eyes, like he's searching around for things. So, if he's just calmly sitting there, his eyes wouldn't be that big as they are in the picture.
So
Yeah, go ahead, Joel.
if you're staring at me while I'm doing this, I'm just gonna kind of look over at you and be like, don't get any ideas. I see you staring. You have a nice little bed. You just keep yourself comfortable. I'm saving for something. It's important. My best friend is, well, he's been separated from me currently. And I almost have enough. I almost have enough to get him home.
Slugga just kind of pauses and then just raises eyebrow and then starts, like, holding up fingers like he's trying to, like, count, like, question how much.
At that time, I want to walk over to her since none of us can understand him anyway, and I'm gonna just speak to her and go, "Chickdow's gums velvaha," which, of course, I sent you a PM about.
Oh, okay. Just for a second there, I'm like,
Is this a word I know?
No, but you're not
So-
there anyway.
That's fair. So never
I'm
mind.
going to answer in common because I see him holding up fingers and paws and things. And just say, I almost have it. I need just one more gold. Just one more. But
Slugga's gonna pause at this and just kind of look, and he's just gonna like take a moment and just kind of look off towards his bag, look back, and he's gonna get out of his little comfortable position and scurry over to his bag and start fishing through it real quick.
as he's doing that, I'm gonna keep saying, I used so many arrows today, and I gotta get more. I'm hurt. You might be hurt later. We need to get something to take care of ourselves when we get out in these situations. Some potions and stuff. I know I'm gonna end up spending some of this. I don't have a choice.
I'm gonna walk over to my dresser and reach inside of it and go back to her and just drop 5 gold into her pile.
I can't take this from you.
Yes, you can.
I can't take this from you.
You take it now, or I shove it down your throat and you take it either way. And I won't be going on these. It's gonna have to be Ren.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you know the people in the town are thinking this is the group. So you'll find out tomorrow even more, as you are getting out about town. People are talking about this group and the people in it.
They'll be sorely disappointed when it's Ren.
Nobody knows Ren.
Exactly.
But I could always just tell a story about Ren.
Well, there were a lot of people at the festival, and so that's where the word of mouth goes.
I'm sure they'll all understand that I'm a whore, not a fighter.
Oh, good gracious. A whore. If you're handing me the gold, I'm gonna go ahead and just like clasp your hands and like take basically like have your hand in both of my hands and put my forehead on your hands and then just kiss them and be like, thank you. You don't know what this means. You do know what this means to me. I really miss him.
I know, man.
I just want him home.
No, go get him.
So, probably after this point, Slugga will eventually come out of his bag, and he'll be holding something in his little hands. He just kind of pauses, and he's looking down, and then he jumps up onto bed and hands over one more additional gold coin. And he's just kind of like staring at it and just kind of passes it over, just kind of holding it out.
I'm gonna look at it and be like, well, you don't need to do that, but you are sleeping in my bed, so I'm gonna take it anyways. But I'll give you breakfast while you're here, so it comes out even, okay? And then I'm gonna grab the gold from him.
He just kind of smiles at the mention of breakfast and just taps stomach and settles back into his little spot on his bed on his side.
I want to attempt to gently, non-threatening like, attempt and based off of his body language of whether that's going to be approved or not, attempt to pet him. And if it looks like that's going to be a no, I'll just stop and walk away.
Let me think over the day's events. It's been a long day. He's technically nearly died. He probably doesn't care too much. Well, technically, he could have nearly died twice if that fucking skeleton zombie did one more damage. Then he went down and got beat on more. Yeah, he'd kind of stare for a moment, but he wouldn't like try moving away or anything. He'd just kind of rest his head back down and just be like, okay.
Oh, then I pet him gently. And then I will walk over to my bed, close my drawer, and then walk out and go to my fucking workroom.
He's just gonna stare awkwardly for a moment, like, and then just point back to her bed and then point at the door, like, wait, what? Where? Huh? Not sleep time?
The club's shut down today, just so you know.
Well, and I'll go in there and I'll PM you.
I'm crawling into bed. And I'll just kind of look at Sluggo and be like, don't worry about it. She's a lady of the night. You know how they are.
Kind of like bobs his head, like he's like thinking about it. He's like, he kind of shrugs his shoulders, like, yeah, I get it.
And I would just go to sleep. I'm done. I'm sleeping.
After what I sent you, Airee, then I'll go back and I'll get in bed.
Okay.
Is Spoon going to do anything?
Is anything being like, go to bed or what?
I guess.
Would I be incorrect in assuming that the Curious Goblin has workplace bed accommodations?
There'll be somewhere in there. When you do get there, you do see the front windows smashed out.
Oh, good.
It's just a little drafty.
Yep.
Okay, before anything else, let me ask you, because it's 11:30 our time here, and it's 10:30 for Sin and Co. So, do you want to keep going for another 30 minutes or so, or do you want to cut off between 11 and 12?
I personally don't have to work until 10, so the latest that I can probably go is midnight my time. But of course, I can work with whatever everybody else wants.
I've probably got another 30 minutes in me.
I'm sleepy. But
You gotta role play out the night terrors, you know?
I mean, I could do that if necessary.
God damn it, why don't I have that fucking clip of Homer screaming about cobras?
Have you ever had night terrors?
Yes.
Yeah, my son too.
Just saying it's a bad thing in basic training. That's all I'm saying. Like you're oh boy.
And so which one do you want to do? Send 30 minutes or call it good?
Could always do the RP channel thing that we did with Faranar.
We
I
could do
think I
that.
was muted.
Oh, I think that we do really good RP here, though.
Well, we did really good RP in the chats too. I mean,
I think
I'm honestly fine with whatever.
most of our main thing is that the DM sees our role play, because for Varinar, J-Hop did not see, I think, maybe 60% of our role play outside of campaign.
yeah, but here it'd be a better case.
This DM will stay up way late, and it's just the goblin next to him that prefers not to.
The
Goblins
next to
everywhere.
him, and this
Look,
gnome
Zam-
would just go to sleep.
I'm starting to get the feeling that Airee has
In
like a
and
thing
out
for
of game.
goblins.
Sam, I just want to mention that you're more than just a goblin.
You're goblin.
Well, how
Goblin
about
mom.
how about we keep going for another 30 minutes, and so it kind of keeps the need for having the out of game role play down, and we'll just keep going for about another 30 minutes, and then I'll bark at everybody.
12 for me is a very good stopping point, but for people who are in time zones before me, I can't speak for them.
It's only 8:30 for me right now, man.
If
so I'm-
everybody's good for 30 more minutes, then we'll call it 30 minutes.
I'm good.
Because that's a 4-hour game, and that's pretty good for me. When it goes over that, I'm kind of crusty.
What?
All right, cool. So on that same point, let me just point out that if the Forsaking Halfling ever decides to watch this video, just know that collaborating with your fellow players is a good idea. And that's all I got to say.
What are you talking about?
He's making a reference.
Eris.
Oh,
Okay, thanks. Oh, by the way, the halfling's dead.
Yes! Yes! It was perfect. That's all I was saying. I've ended where I need to end if we all need to end.
Yeah, again, I'm down for doing my little extra bit I wanted to do in chat. It doesn't really matter to me whether it's voice or text.
I made you a new channel. There is an RP Drops channel.
Yes. Excellent.
So if you want, we can do the bit at the garrison, or we can call it.
The what? At the what?
I say let's call it, because I would want us all to be present for the garrison.
Okay.
I want to wake up before my roommates.
Before our characters sleep, I cast Find Familiar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, definitely as far as how characters wake up, as far as in this world, my character would not be one of the first to wake up.
Okay.
Well, you can put it in the RP Drops when you want it, when you're thinking about getting up and everything. Alex, you should have your 3 in the journal. So you can pick the one you want.
Quote the Raven. Fuck off.
And Sammy, once you pay the trainer, yours is already in the journal also.
Awesome. Thank you.
I just realized who would choose a fish as their familiar.
An aquatic
you don't-
person.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
like,
know.
I guess if you're doing a
PPL.
pirate campaign, maybe, but
Yeah.
You know, I have a seahorse on standby.
Part of me is all
But
for
you could get
a
an octopus.
pirate-themed campaign.
What about an
I would-
octopus, though?
I'd
That's
be
just a
one.
better version of a fish.
Yeah, I could get an
already have a
octopus if
pirate
someone wanted to make
character.
sashimi of my fucking familiar.
Just remember, each one of those castings is 10 gold.
Yep.
That's
Anywho,
That's another one that you can't use the focus item for.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah,
anything that doesn't have a gold value, you can use the focus item for.
I will need to ask you questions for later points in time for what my ocarina can be used for, but definitely not for now.
Yeah, we're at a good stopping point right now because, like I said, the next thing is it's morning and you're heading to the garrison. So,
One last question for you. How is the weather over the night?
oh, let's check.
I mainly need to know if it's like raining or storming. Yeah, if it's storming as well, that'd be important.
While you're checking, I would like to say I love the music that you added.
Yes. It's AAR time.
It felt, I don't know how it felt for everybody else, but like for me at least, it felt like the music was real time so that I could kind of talk along with it or role play along with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it just gives the feel of more of a hey, you're in the middle of a story versus you can interact whenever you want to type of feeling. And I like the feeling of being in the middle of it. So, as far as to you reacting to your poll questions to each of us, what would you like to see and everything? I feel like you've adjusted very nicely.
You can keep adding things to that. Any, plus, minus, whatever. As far as tomorrow's weather, when you get up, it'll be 25 degrees.
Ooh, cold.
Yes, the high.
Oh shit!
Yes, you're in autumn.
Oh, so it'll be even colder overnight then, probably.
Well, it gets down to 25. So, but some of you want to get up early, so getting up early it's not going to have warmed up from that temperature yet.
Okay, so for you giving us that information of it's going to be cold as fudge the morning after, instead of being at the old light tower, I would like to be back at the
Rusty Dragon.
Yes, I will
That's
be
fine.
there instead.
It's also going to be very windy tomorrow. So
It's okay.
about 18-mile-an-hour winds. And the high is only supposed to be 44. But no rain in the forecast for tomorrow.
Okay.
That in there. That will affect how I fly, depending on which direction you say that the wind is blowing.
Coming in from the sea.
Gotcha. It's not too bad.
The sea is all around us, though.
The sea is to your west.